Hello and welcome to the Anywhere Door and Other Cider Studios. I'm your storyteller, Ambrose. I go by any all pronouns. And tonight we continue with the story of Arcane Corps Gifts of Fear, a limited series using the Magnus Archives role-playing game to explore the world of the Arcane Corps as well as the personification of something we, as humans, have to deal with day in and day out: fear. Janemba and Marcus are left in the apartment with Mal and Ezra. We see a little bit of the history between these two before, about a year prior, before they are projected back into the present, with a frazzled Marcus who senses an entry of something sinister and malicious that had once been in the apartment. Ezra found unknown sigils within the bloody bathroom, which had been somewhat translated by Marcus. Isn't a type of sigil that they have really seen anywhere before, but it bears a resemblance to enough of what the occultist knows. Something had amplified a negative feeling or emotion in that space, and it had been sent somewhere to be fed upon. Janemba hones in on something scurrying quickly across the floors and up the wall of the kitchen. A large black spider, size of a human palm, with blue accents. It kills it and decides to keep it to look at later, whatever that means. The group leaves, and it seems like another identical spider appears on top of the kitchen cabinet in its place. Wonder what that means. And somewhere in Manhattan, a bartender working at a club called the Nightingale witnesses something unsettling. Someone asks for a lighter in the back of a nearby alley and doesn't seem to register his words, opting to repeat themselves instead, repeating, "Got a light? Got a light? Got a light?" When a coworker comes to check on him, the stranger vanishes, like no one was ever there. Unsettling for certain, but before we continue with this tale, let's meet our characters.
Hello, hello. My name is B Zelda, they, them, and I am joining y'all playing Janemba the Protector. Um, I think that if somebody were to investigate the space in which Janemba sleeps, there would be many a Ziploc bag and container filled with dead bugs.
Hi everyone, I'm Maz, she, they pronouns, and today I'll be playing Marcus Adani, the occultist. You know, he's not afraid of the dark. He's afraid of what's in the dark. And sometimes he sits late at night, messing with the lights, wondering if they will pop out, calling his name. Nope, he's just falling asleep, that's it.
Hello, my name is Sinziak, your resident he, they, and I am playing Orpheus Thera, pronouns they, them. And our fun fact for Orphe today is that they like croissants because they are also moon-shaped.
Amazing. So, some content warnings before we begin, for your awareness, everybody. This series includes minor gore, body horror, frightening and intense scenes, dark themes, descriptive scenes of death, descriptive scenes of a body or a murder scene, potential character death, NPC death, feelings of being watched, mannequins, clowns, and other Uncanny Valley individuals, spiders. And without further ado, let's continue. Orphe, you watch Ezra like kind of do that like backwards walk going on for you, like while you're walking in an opposite direction, like keeping an eye on you as you're separating in the hallway, going back in time a little bit. It's just like, hey, I'm not gonna be alone. Don't be alone for too long. Like, is the face that he makes as he goes forward into the apartment that Mal is leading everybody else into. And you answer your phone as you enough distance separates, like separates you enough, and you lift the phone and you answer. How do you open?
Moshi Moshi.
Mush mushy? Really? And he says it back in like fluent Japanese. Like,
Hi, Theo.
stuff. He's gonna like follow this bit all the way down. He's like answers in full Japanese. This is Orphe, right? Are you alone?
Oh. I mean, there are people in the building, but not in the room I'm in.
As long as you have some distance. He switches back to English. What is this note about exactly? What is your actual concern here? The people assigned are exceptional seekers, but that's the thing, isn't it? You had people you knew and you could have asked but didn't, and brought in a non-seeker to look into this. I want to know, do you believe this is an inside job? Do you need us to confirm whether or not he is alive? He's not alive? Is Ezra going to be in danger if he goes on this mission? He wasn't mentioned in the briefing or the recording, and while he is a very capable seeker, he is a former hunter just like Janemba. I think Janemba's a seeker, if I remember correctly. He's like, just like corrects, and then he's like, what battle were we being sent into?
Ah, yes, that one.
Yeah,
Thank
do you
you for.
send notes very often secretly to people?
I'm about 3 notes below quota today, if you must know.
Oh, man. So you need to speed that up. Day's almost over.
Um, but also somewhat more seriously,
Mm-hmm.
Theo,
Yes.
what's going on?
With this particular case? With Ezra's case? Or specify here?
I mean, if we're being specific, okay. What were you two talking about in the library earlier today?
Doing a good job. Keeping your eyes. That's what you're supposed to be doing. That's good. Um, Ezra has been with the Corps for a long time, even before officially being with the Corps. And being a seeker isn't really his thing. He hasn't like not noted it or been aware of it or brought it up before. But this particular one, granted, I'm not so sure anymore. This particular case, I thought would be a quick one in the field a little bit. Something's missing. Retrieval usually isn't that big of a deal. But now I'm starting to get uncertain vibes. Let's say also Ezra tends to have knowledge about these sorts of things, has been on the inside when he was a hunter, and I have no problem passing off information to him because he knows how to keep it classified. He always has. And he also has a lot of inside knowledge about a lot of things. So he gets asked to assist in different situations or cases on a regular basis.
So, he just happens to be helpful. This case is in no way particular or personal to him or any of those things.
I sure hope not. Doesn't seem like it. He wasn't assigned for it because this was specific for him, if that's what you mean. He's bought on because he has a lot of knowledge about these sorts of things. And I trust him with it. I trust him more than a lot of people with this sort of thing. And you... He pauses. You can kind of feel like if you were present, he'd like be pointing at you, like you specifically. Kind of need to keep an eye on him, don't you?
That's what I thought. Well, that's stuff that I can do, but I will also say those are things that are a lot easier to do when I know what I'm looking for.
What questions do you have that might be pointing you in the right direction? What are you missing?
At this point, about 3 days worth of sleep, but
Can't do anything about that, sorry, bud.
I will say a thing about this, and consider this a freebie. I mentioned something about having been in similar situations during one of our casual conversations while we were doing some research. I have rarely seen Ezra so unsettled.
There's a pause on the phone as he's pausing and taking in everything you're saying. There's a question there. You kind of imply. Memories of that conversation after the interview with Reggie and their team. And Ezra's behavior in general, and the walk to the bodega, and everything. You know what happened, kind of, right? About his team before?
Only in the vaguest of ways.
So then let's make it unvague then. They died. It was a full team wipeout. He witnessed the whole thing. He tried to stop it from happening. And with his capabilities, based off of the information provided to him, he should have. But that information was wrong. He was given false information, whether because clerical error, or he lets it hang.
And I just give the acknowledgement of the kind of the unspoken, we see where this is going, but no one needs to verbalize.
Yeah, that. There's just and it just settles. And nothing like that has happened since. It's been a few years, I think. But enough people, me and some others included, want to make doubly sure that it is an accident.
Do you feel like it is?
I've looked it over countless times. It seems like it. Unless there's information missing from those reports. But it seems, if I had to be honest with you, it seems too clean. It makes too much sense. If that makes sense. Or I'm paranoid. But I don't get where I am without being a little paranoid here.
Well, if it's of any consolation, here on the site, part of what I'm here to investigate is the fact that there's some kind of puppeteer at work, the nature of which I do not know, but it certainly seems to leave a lot of blood in the bathroom. So the idea of there being something a bit more sinister in the background of that wouldn't be the most surprising thing I'd run into in this case, but I'm worried about the danger that might put Ezra in if he investigates it, because it seems something that he's determined to investigate.
Stop talking. There's a moment, and he's taking everything. Like, there was like a silence, a dead silence on that end, and it's just like, okay, all right. You hear a sound. And maybe through the phone, you're not quite sure what it is, because like it might peak on a actual phone. But you get the vibe of a whistle. It sounds like a very piercing whistle. And it's definitely his. And then you hear next to you, like, the scritching of like nails against the floor. It's very, you're used to this in New York City, and like in any city person might know this, but like a dog's nails like scrapping against the floor kind of thing. Like, that's kind of out of place. And then you turn as you feel a presence brush against your calf and knee, and walk around to stand in front of you and then sit, and you see this fluffy white Samoyed dog look up at you with the cutest face in the world, tongue lolling out.
Oh, hey there, little buddy. Where'd you come from?
Pat his head.
I give the dog a head pat.
The best of head pats, the best of scritches. You pat it, and kind of you feel the world shift a little bit under you. It's very like sudden. I'm not sure if you've ever like been through any place through teleportation in any form, shape, or way. I feel like you might have with your experience. It's just not something that cleaners know
Happens
how to do.
often.
It like happens often, but you've been with people that like do. It's very hard to do, is what you know. And you're like, oh shit, like the bottom of your stomach falls kind of thing. Like you feel like you just like got the tail end of the worst part of a roller coaster ride is what you remember. So you're prepared, but if you hadn't been, you might have thrown up. Colors swirl and shift and change in front of you before stabilizing into like a brightly lit sun coming through rain clouds, through a window, an office, a chair. Janemba was just here earlier, and you see Theo across from it. As you settle, you're not in the chair itself. You're still standing, granted legs are a little wobbly, because you were not prepared or preempted what was getting ready to happen when you patted this dog's head. And then you kind of shift a little bit as you stabilize. As you realize, oh, I moved. I'm not in the same place I was. I'm in a different place. I'm back in the core specifically because, at least I'm hoping so, because Theo's right in front of me. Then you see, like, just the dog, like, bound out of view behind the desk right next to Theo. And probably sits down because you no longer see the fluffy white there, but... And Theo's face is, like, mild humor because you look unsettled, right? Like, you look, like, off-kilter a little bit. But there is a level of seriousness there. Puppeteer?
So, it sounds like we're finally about to level with each other a bit. So, all right. And I pull out my sketchbook, and I just show him the page where I just sketched what the vision looked like.
Okay. There was like, you had given one of the sketches with all the eyes, I think, to Marcus. But then like there was other ones you had. What were those?
The one with the bloody bathroom. I'm just saying, you know, I don't Oh, wait, hold on for a moment.
Yeah, take your time.
Oh, okay. Also, more important to our mission, I want to show you this. And I show him the sketch I made of Andy and strings coming off of his right shoulder.
You like put it on the table? Or are you like just like shoulder, like holding it up from?
Like, I'm holding it up.
Okay. He like peers over a little bit and like gives enough space so that you don't feel like...
No, very much like this.
Yeah. He stares at it, like leans in a little bit just to get a bit closer view, but like not by much. So, a puppeteer or something that does controlling of some sort, probably tied to the artifact that he was looking at.
I honestly don't know. And that's the issue. Before I was teleported here, I think I probably could have like tried to figure that out. Maybe the rest of the team did, but I don't know. And
You'll find out eventually. I trust them to gather all the information, but you just said something very worrying about this entity, right?
It seems to not just control people, but like drains them of emotion, as it were. I don't know how to explain it, except that Andy was not his normal, I suppose, more vibrant self in the vision that I saw.
Mm-hmm. And like you see him like pull out like a drawer. He pulls out like a notepad, specifically like like for this man, probably not. It's like a leather-bound journal, like probably noted, has like different like notations in it and stuff. Flip to a clean page, and he's taking notes of everything you're saying. So puppeteer, threads, controlling, drained of emotions or an emotion.
As far as I know, just emotions. His skin was very pale. His eyes were unfocused. It was kind of a overall thing. And let's just say I then had to have some very interesting discussions about my artwork after that. So...
Were you drawing this in plain sight?
I feel like if you have me here, then you know how those visions work. I don't get to draw them later, so...
You draw them when they come to you. It's okay. But just know, like, people will ask questions, especially, I'm assuming, about their teammate.
Well, thankfully, they won't.
He levels you with, like, a look. What did you do? Did you do your cleaner thing?
I convinced them that the drawing was just a nervous meeting habit.
Right. Like you don't know what he wrote, but he makes a note and then marks clearly several exclamation marks next to whatever he wrote about that. And then like keeps writing.
As I understand it, Theo, on a very real level, they're not supposed to know that. So I made sure they didn't.
Well, I appreciate it. But I'm assuming theory is Andy isn't alive anymore.
I am afraid that might be the case.
Writes it down. And do you know, he asks as he's like looking not at you, but like kind of like thoughtfully like up in the ceiling kind of thing. Do you know how much time had passed between Andy leaving the Corps and possibly what happened to him in the apartment?
Actually, do I?
I think you might assume that like it has been at least several hours after he left before like what happened in the... But you don't know exact timeline, right? You just know that it's been at least 12 hours after he left, which is a lot of time. You would know that anyway. But if you wanted specifics, like, you're gonna have to talk to everybody else. But
my best guess is probably the same day, later that day. 10 to 12 hours.
10 to 12 hours. It's a long time being controlled by somebody. I have a feeling that he might have been doing something, or something was making him doing something in that time frame. Okay, closes it. That might be something to look into. If you want me, actually, no, it's not your choice. I'm going to look into this a little bit more. At least this entity, potentially. Provide information if I can to y'all. This doesn't sound good.
No, it does not. And so, aside from the overall mission, if what you have said is true, then my concern would be, if Ezra's the only witness left, what happens when you're the only witness left? Keep an eye. If you're not going to send us to do it, that's fine. But someone should keep an eye on him.
I'm doing that. So are you.
I'm doing my level best without causing him to have an emotional breakdown.
Okay, I don't know about emotional breakdown, but I've seen him have plenty of emotional breakdowns. I've known him longer than you.
Fair enough. So, what do we do now?
Well, whenever your team gets back, because I'll let them know that you're here. You have some time to kill, I suppose. From some researching to do, some follow-ups to do on your end. Or, if you want to look and see what happened to Ezra while they're not here, you can totally do that too.
I think I might. But first, following that teleportation, probably a very ill-advised idea, I'm gonna go have a coffee.
Mm-hmm. I heard that it makes you a little sick, but you're well versed in teleportation. You've been through it before, right? So make sure you have some saltine crackers. That might help you a little bit. Make sure you sit down, level, take a breath, take a breather. Water? Yeah, water will do it.
What is this substance?
What? Water? Water. H2O. The thing that you're made of 75. Please don't start with me. I've had this conversation too often with half of the people that work here. Please, water, not coffee. Please, you'll pass out or you'll crash from anxiety. Please just take a moment.
Crashing out from anxiety is the thing
Coffee?
that you're worried about?
Or Java crash. I don't know. Just have some water.
Fine. Message received. I will have some water.
He leans down, pulls over his lower shelf. You can see him lift, open it, rummage around, produce a water bottle, and throw it at you immediately. I
attempt to catch it.
You don't say attempt. That means you have to roll something. One second. What would you roll? That'd probably be endurance. Is your thing here. Give me a second. Which I don't think you have a lot of. 1 second. Is there anything that can help? Nope. Yep. You're just rolling endurance, which you're not trained in. You're just oh no, you would. You just know. So yeah, you're just knowing. So this isn't too I'm not using his actual level against you in this because it was meant to be like, here, catch. This is level 2, which makes it like, gotta get 6 or higher.
How many dice am I rolling?
Just a d20.
Oh, okay. I would like you to know that I got a 1 today. So like the bottle just smacks me right in the face.
He even paused and everything and waited for you to
Ow.
turn, and you just like stared into the distance. Maybe that teleportation hit you more than you thought, and it hits you straight in the face and then slides down and then bounces on the floor. And there's just silence between you two, and then you just say, ow.
Diva down.
That's why
I
you
pick
shouldn't
up
just have
the
coffee.
I pick up the water and I open the water and start drinking it before leaving the office.
Point proven immediately as you leave. And you do. You finish chugging that water as you leave the apartment, like not the apartment, the office. And what are you doing? You said that you might, like, now that your team right now isn't here, this is a prime time to do some research about what might have happened with Ezra without anyone being too snoopy about it.
What I do is I tried to find out what it was that his team was assigned to.
Okay. Best place to do that would be level 3, where the archives are. That's where all team archives are, and it has happened in the last 10 years. So you can check that out there.
Okay, and that is what I do.
I think you're on the same floor, so it's just literally like across the floor to like the other side of the floor where the lower libraries are, where you were with like everybody before. You're just in a different section instead of like the meeting rooms. And you go there and it is empty. No one's usually here on a regular basis. They might be here enough to pick something up and then leave. There is like maybe 1 or 2 people on like the actual tables, set up shop doing their research. The section for files having to do with teams, you might have to talk to an archivist about. And you do see like 1 or 2 milling about. One of them is very like mousy with glasses. This is, I don't know if you've seen him or know who he is, but this is Terry. And just this awkward little creature of a person, is just looking through the filing cabinets behind like a desk, like, and like it seems like being particularly organized about it, and just like, not there. Maybe I'll just move this back there. Yeah, okay. Maybe I should color coordinate them a different color. I don't know. No one's really had this problem before. Yes. That one's fine. Closes one, then goes to the next drawer and like flips through and then starts doing the same thing. This seems to get his goat for some reason. This is what he likes doing. He's in his own world and he's having a great old time organizing.
And he's the only person nearby.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Excuse me. I
What? Oh, how can I help you? I've seen you around. Closes the file cabinet. Yeah, yeah.
Terry, correct?
Yes, yeah. That's me. Yeah.
Nice to meet you, Terry. It looks like you were hard at work organizing a few things.
Oh yeah, like it's so easy for information to get lost in here. So like I've been doing my due diligence and just making sure that there's a color coded system, and then like if you wanted to find something based off of like number system, that's totally fine too. That's just a little archaic. But like I'm doing my system, everyone agrees with it, so I'm just making sure that it's like up to snuff.
So, in this color-coded system, what color information would you be looking for if you were looking for information about team missions?
Oh, that would be, and he like shuffles over 2 file cabinets and then like pulls like, oh, that would be the oranges to reds. Depends on which kind of team you're looking for. Are you looking for a hunter team? You're looking for seeker teams? You're looking for like mixed teams, temporary teams? What are we looking for?
What kind of team was Ezra on? It's a mixed team, probably, right?
It was a hunter team.
Oh,
He used to be a hunter before he was a seeker.
I am looking for something on hunter teams.
All right, and then like that's more on the red side. Can you tell me which, maybe if you don't know the actual like hunter cell name, perhaps like one of the cell people that used to be there? Because like not a lot of people remember the numbers because like who does? But yeah, so which one?
I take a deep breath and pause. Do you happen to have a file on teams that include Ezra Todd?
He's shuffling through, and then you say Ezra Todd, and then he stops, and he looks at you, and then you can see those big bugged out eyes behind his Coke bottle glasses, because it makes him look like a bug from where he is. Ezra Todd? You mean the seeker that works here now?
Mm-hmm. The very same.
Huh. Yeah, I have that one. And then like he like goes through and pulls out like a file in the back, and he like looks at it and like holds it in his hands. And looks at it for a moment before like turning to you like very stiffly, and then like walking over to you and putting it down in front of you.
Can I roll?
Yes, you can definitely roll. What would you like to roll?
A psychology to be like, what is this
What
going
is
on over
that?
here?
What was that weirdness? Yes, you are trained in this. So the task usually is at a 4 with this person. But since you're trained, it is a 3. That means you need to be 9 or higher.
Okay. I got a 16 on the die.
Nice. Awesome. Amazing. So when he realized you were talking about Ezra, and not because it is Ezra, but like he knew like automatically what hunter cell he was a part of. He knows about what happened probably to the hunter cell. A lot of people did. But he might know something else because he's acting kind of weird and cagey about it. And he's holding it because like he's wondering if you are the right person to give it to. Like he's more like, I want to protect this thing because I'm not sure if this is the person I should be giving it to, more than anything.
I look at Terry and go, I promise I'll give it back. I won't even leave the room with the files, if that helps.
Well, it's not about that. No.
Hey Terry, do you mind if I share something with you?
He looks increasingly uncomfortable. Sure.
Is this a good place for a one-on-one chat, or?
He looks around. I mean, it's pretty empty, but like, I would feel more comfortable if it wasn't in an open place like this right now, yeah.
Okay. Where would you suggest?
There's, like, he, like, looks around, come with me, and just this scurrying creature or person walks, and it's not the, meeting rooms, like the line of meeting rooms that y'all went to before. It's like an office, like, you know, like probably where the archivists kind of, like, hang out if they don't want to be on the floor kind of thing. It's a mess in there. This is clearly someone else's, like, different archivists are office, but this is where everyone goes to just drop their stuff. So you see people drop their stuff. And he walks in and he's like, oh, geez. And then he just moves through the chaos, and like pulls out 2 chairs, and closes the door behind him. Once he checks the coast is clear. And he has the file with him, or I don't know who ended up having the file. I think you ended up having it, but like, it's like, all right. So, you know Marcus, right?
I do.
Yeah. And like I've been kind of giving him like random cases on the side, you know? Like not an official capacity, like, you know, someone should look into it. They're cold cases. As cold case as it can be for an organization that technically doesn't exist. But yeah, like I notice things sometimes, and you know, I take my time, as you see. Like I do my due diligence as often as I possibly can, and sometimes things just don't feel right, and I pass them off to Marcus because I trust Marcus. Marcus like hits the ground running all the time, like, and he's helped me a lot. But there's just enough cases that even he's stumped on. You know, he helps a lot. He's helped a lot, but there's just some that like just aren't. That just end. There's no clues. There's nothing, and I haven't gotten to read this yet. But I got that feeling again, just hearing about it. So I don't know what's in it yet either. I just know that like it just doesn't. I don't know. It just doesn't sound right.
That's fair. So let's just say that for possibly different reasons, I have a similar feeling and wanted to know a bit more about who was involved and who sent them on the case in the first place. So I figured the case files here would be the best place to look.
So you're trying to get to the bottom of if it's weird or not too, yeah?
Yes, very specifically because Ezra is a seeker, and let's just say over the time that we worked together, I have come to befriend him in some way, and I would like to make sure that he is going to be okay. So
He adjusts his glasses and looks at you, like leans in and like really looks at your face. All right, I believe you. I believe you. Okay. What I know, top level. Well, actually, you technically pass. He's gonna tell you something, but I need you to roll like a persuasion of sorts to see how much he tells you more than anything. So let me. I know there's perception. Does no one have perception? A lot of people have perception.
Perception?
Persuasion, there we go. Persuasion, you don't have. So it's just going to be normal. It's going to be a difficulty of 4 unless you want to ease it in some way. But other than that, it would be 12 or higher.
Okay.
You feeling? You can use an effort if you want to.
I do not. Oh, okay. So what did you say the difficult, like, what was it? Difficulty level
It's a
4?
level 4, meaning you have to get a 12 or higher if you want to make it easier, like lessen the effort, like put in a level of effort. That would mean you give me, it's an intellect thing. You have an edge of 2, so you only have to give me 1 intellect, and then it would make it a 3 instead.
I have rolled a 17.
Never mind, you're fine. So after that stare down, he's like, okay, this is what I know. All right, so 3 years ago, like Ezra team went and set out to go into like a town, like do a like a during the time he was a hunter. So their main job, not your job, is like, hey, someone did their research already. They were either there, they checked out the area, they scoped out the area, they found out what was there, and it is a hunter's job to either not necessarily to exterminate or get rid of a monster because it depends on what it is, but to solve it. Whether that's like, hey, making sure both parties, whether the town did something wrong to make the entity angry, or if the entity is starting to get out of control, is to just find a way to solutionize the problem. And they were sent out to this small, like it was like a smaller level entity. You can say it was like a forest god of sorts. That was really small, so like not anything a big deal. Usually, like you appease it, you send it off on its way, you give it an offering, you apologize on behalf of the townspeople, or you tell the townspeople that this is what they need to do going forward. You check back in every few months to make sure everything's going well, and you make that a reoccurring thing to make sure that further generations might know about it, perhaps if it gets to that level. But since it's a smaller level god of sorts, not a big deal. It's kind of routine. It's kind of procedure. It happens all the time. Or like, like large scale curse over the town, and like you get rid of the curse if you do X, right? And whatever. So not a big deal. No one got hurt. No one was noted to have gotten hurt at all. And the location of this forest god was a cave in nearby the town. And there was Ezra and I think 3 others. They all seem really close team. You don't see that very often with hunter teams. I think it's the first one that's been together that I read about for since conception. Some people trade out often. I don't remember all their names. One of them was Amelia. And yeah, and they went in to the cave to do what they needed to do to appease it, and something else was there. It wasn't I don't think it was a forest god at all. If it was, that wasn't its location, and someone told them that that's where it was. Something else was there. Something dark. Something hungry, maybe. And I don't know, I haven't brought myself to read the actual case file. Ezra wrote that, and he didn't spare any details. Let's just put it that way. And he was prepared for it to be that forest god, so he prepared to protect everybody that way, but it bypassed everything he threw at it. It ate it. It ate everything that he threw, and I think it ate them too. Not their bodies, just them, who they were. That's all I know. He wasn't good for a few months. Granted, he doesn't know I exist, right? But we all know him. We've seen him around for years. He's different now. Yeah.
Hey, Terry. First of all, thank you for telling me about this. And
Yeah.
I need to ask if you can cross-reference something for me.
Oh, that sounds like something I could definitely do. I'm not great with this emotion stuff. Yes, what would you like me to cross-reference?
You said they were sent after a forest god, right?
Yeah.
Well, normally there's like a ledger that says something like, you know, this group of people was sent to investigate this thing dispatched by this person, right?
Yeah, it should be in there. Whoever the full details of who dispatched what. I just know that the person, the handler for them, I they got let go after this, so it was a big mistake, big mistake.
Do we have records on that, the time of that, the time of that particular handler's tenure here?
Um,
Is this the handler referenced in this file? Is this the first time that they've had an incident, like had an incident at all, let alone one like this one?
their name was Beatrice. Beatrice like grabs the file off your lap and like flips through the front page because that's where it is. Evers. Beatrice Evers. Not that I know of. Any of the cases I looked into that were kind of fishy, it's never been the same handler, if anything, like anything having to do with a case like this. It's never really been the same one before. She's had a long run of good, like, working well. She checks her T's, dot her I's. I've worked with her before, and you know, it kind of came out of left field. She was devastated when it happened.
Who was she working under? Do you know?
No, I don't know, unfortunately. I can look it up, but like report level, like I would have to like do my own like search in the database on that one for like their manager or like their higher ups, the whatever their org chart looks like, I guess if you want to put it that way.
Well, why don't I start trying to work through reading this file? And as I do, if I have a more interesting question, then I'll make sure to come and find you. Let me ask one more thing.
Oh,
Where's
okay.
a good place to go and read this where I wouldn't be interrupted for a while?
Oh, that's easy. And he opens the door and like ushers you to follow him, and like he's like, so you see all those stacks over there, right? Those are like places people set up, and like there's like those little like those like what is it like those cubicles where like this high, no one can really see you. It's meant to like be so like no one bothers you while you're like in it. Most people choose to sit at the tables across from each other because they want to like company while they're doing stuff. But no one bothers anyone back there. You would literally have to be like hunting them down to like find them, like if you knew exactly where they were sitting, kind of thing.
Well, definitely given the nature of what we're looking into, I definitely wanted to make sure that no one bothers me while I'm reading, but also that no one sneaks up on me unwarranted. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's not gonna happen over there. You can hear him coming from a mile away. The sound bounces all over the place and over there.
Good to know. In that case, I will go and make myself settled in the furthest back corner of that room.
All right. So you say goodbye to Terry, who like gives you like a small like a small smile, like he's happy to know. It seems like you've proven your case of like, hey, you're trying to protect a friend of yours. And yeah, this is just fishy, period. Everything he told you, like, yeah, it sounds weird. The only thing that sounds weird about it, like on a high level, is, oh, hey, someone made a clerical error and gave them the wrong information about a place. Kind of reminiscent of what Theo said of like, hey, it seems a little too like, hey, someone made a error, and it was someone that doesn't make errors. From what at least Terry noted, like this person must have been working here a while. So like if they ever made errors, this is when they just started. They've been here for a while, and they've been let go after this. So it's swimming in your brain as like you set up shop You look
Like
around and
the math is not
the
mathing.
math is not mathing. It's not doing its job. On paper, if this were literally anybody but you right now and Terry, let's say, you're just like, that's a tragedy. That's weird. But if it happened on a regular basis, sure. This something
You've been working here for this long, and it's just oops, like whoopsie doodle, and like one whoopsie doodle and immediately fired. But also, it's just kind of like here's this, like here's this handler, here's the situation. I feel like people have like double and triple checked a thing and made sure to be accurate, especially in a company where they know that people will die if they do it wrong.
yes.
Like Claire, like, well, I mean, for fairness to be, like, even when they don't do clerical errors, them handling things correctly can be costly, and that's why I work here. So,
Exactly. And you just met someone, and this is the vibe you get in general from like the studious type, the seeker type, whether they're the archivists, the librarians, or like the people who actually go out into the field like Ezra does, and Janemba is learning to do right now, is they triple check their stuff. Like they have to, because if they don't, they're the first line of defense to hand off to a hunter, to see like to anybody that goes out into the field. So it seemed like you're not sure what due diligence she did, but maybe you can find that out. But based off of her tenure, her work, her experience, everything, she shouldn't have, unless something happened. Who knows? You're getting a weird feeling. You already have been, but like this is closer. I will say, because you're on the path to finding out what happened with Ezra, you have your thing here. 1 second, I'm just making sure I have it right. You have two instances of finding out information. One from Theo, and then one from Terry. So each instance is 2 XP, so you have 4 XP right now from these interactions. This is because of your character arc and what you're doing right now.
Okay. What I will add is, to fill out the rest of that time, I know exactly what I'm going to do.
Okay.
Because it's kind of like, hey, when you're looking for information and if you have a specific piece of information and want to know more about it, here's what we can do. So I'm going to go and take my little edge of 2 and go have some premonitions about a few things because,
Yeah, do it. How many premonitions would you like? I'm gonna limit it to a max of 3.
basically, I need to have a premonition of, I'm going to take the time to read the full report
Okay.
so that I have like the information I have before I try to have premonition number 1.
Okay.
And premonition number 1 is going to be at some point the team received the missive.
Yes.
I want to have a premonition for the briefing on that and who gave them the briefing.
Okay.
Premonition number 2 is going to be who found, like, basically the information was about this. So I'm going to see, we got this briefing from whoever. There's someone who passed this person, like the team had a meeting with somebody. Somebody got handed a piece of paper or a tape or recording, whatever, that said, hey, here's the information that we have. I want to have a premonition about like the path of travel. So being like, this person took this information, took the time to document it with whatever, and pass that information along. The third one I want to have is about Beatrice. Well, I guess it's the same as premonition number 2. Someone gave her that information about it being about whatever was in that cave. I want to see who Beatrice got the information from and what was said to her.
Like you want to know how she got the information about the entity?
yeah, about what entity was in there.
Okay.
And very specifically, I'm just gonna be like taking the time to like sketch things. If people are talking, there are gonna be speech bubbles. If there are like paranormal stuff happening in the background, I'll just draw it as background things, right? But the idea being, or at least in the mind of Orphe, right? There's a someone found what was in the cave. Someone sent a report that was in the cave. But those people are usually not the same people who are like passing that information along. So somewhere in the middle of that transit, someone knew what was in that cave, and somehow through a random game, a very malicious telephone, that got changed. Who's responsible for that? And I'm going to try to see if I can follow the path of how that information got there to find out where the breakdown was. I don't know if I can do that in 3 premonitions, but I'm going to try.
So I'll just let you know, because you would know this even before you do premonitions. The handler does the briefing for the group. So like they get it. They get a little briefing of their own with whoever they're talking with. They assert who gets what, essentially. And then they give it, whether in person or on the phone or as long as everyone's on a call or in a presence.
Okay,
they give
so
the briefing.
basically, I've meant to ask 3 questions, but I've asked 2 questions.
Yes.
So I need to, so basically, who gave the team the briefing? That would be Beatrice. Who gave Beatrice this briefing would be that question.
Yes.
And then I guess the third question would be about the person who gave Beatrice that briefing and where they got that from.
Okay. Sick. All right, cool. Describe how you set up. Actually, I have to tell you what the report says. Oh man, that's going to be a bit. Glad that you are the first one, because this is hefty. So, you got kind of similar to the report that Reggie wrote, and Theo like did a audio thing, and like if there is like an audio version of this, like it wasn't released with this file, it might be like in that file cabinet if you want to listen to, but you have the actual document. And reporter was Ezra Todd. So Ezra was the one writing everything, was the one that like noted their experience of the postmortem, essentially, of everything that happened. The pages look watery in some spots, and wrinkled in a lot of spots. There was like a whole page that like was written out and then scribbled out from the words that you can see of it. And this is like later in the document. Like they went off on a tangent. It seems like, but
Is the tangent readable?
kind of like the tangent kind of says like, I should have known, I should have done something differently. Now Amelia's gone and it's my fault. I am the fucking worst. And it's just him getting lost in it and like just bleeding his heart out. And then he crosses it out so that if anyone does read this, they don't know exactly his thought process. But because of the nature of the report, he has to include it regardless, because everything can be viable. So,
I mean, that's fine. That's fine. Very technically speaking, if I really need to know, I can read it because I can just see him when he writes it.
Exactly. That's why I was like, if you want to do it, you can. You just get the vibe of, even before doing the premonition of, yeah, I'll give this to you. Like, this doesn't have to be a premonition, but you get that feeling of the start of a premonition that you get of like the person doing it, and just glasses fogged and watery and sobbing and balling it up and throwing it and just having a moment of loss. True, honest loss. This boy is heartbroken. Like heartbroken. But you're not sure. He lost his friends, but it seemed like he might have lost something more. Perhaps. But the actual report. It says, Secret Agent Ezra Todd. Location that it had been taking place at was a small town a few hours away. It was like a no-name town. It was in upstate New York. It was a town having to do with a small forest god of some sort. No name, because the name might have been forgotten at this point, unfortunately, but they get stuff like this all the time. They had been given the report by Beatrice, someone that they've been working with for years at that point. Protocol was very clear. Location was to go to the cave, make an offering, make sure the townspeople knew about the offering. It had to be stuff they provided too. So things having to do with Earth, or things having to do with their life, or anything that they were grateful for that this potential god might have offered. Anything that they were grateful for. This could be mementos, this could be small items, it didn't have to be anything big. And they did that, and they gathered those from the townspeople willingly, and they went into town, and you're getting the vibe that there was no danger. The rating of this particular entity was, if we look at if I can find it, this classification was preternatural, kind of, and it was either peaceful or neutral, meaning that hey, no guns needed, no magic, volatile magic needed. It's just a kind of a check-in. So guards are down, all the way down. And Ezra led it. And he notes that a team member had to stay behind because of an issue with one of the townspeople. It was kind of a weird situation. The team member was also okay, I guess I'll stay behind for this. But it was a concern of the best way to put it was don't go out there, something's wrong out there, da 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 da. They were irate, they were irrational. It might have been, in hindsight, maybe they knew something that they didn't know. And they're okay, let's talk about it, and I'll reach out to them, and they'll slow their pace down at least towards the forest while this is happening. But based off of all their records, it just didn't match up, so they went with their trusted source on this. And they went ahead. They went into the cave. There wasn't really any alarming signs. You see Ezra notes several times that I didn't notice anything. Why didn't I notice anything? Why didn't I notice anything? I didn't see anything. Not I didn't get any gut feelings. I didn't get any they're going down the list. It's one of those things where usually reports clean and to the point. They perseverate. They fill in stuff. They do everything they can. And then it just suddenly something happens, and they hear not even a scream, it's a gurgle of someone falling, and they just are gone. They fall, they hear a sound, and they turn, and one of their teammates, Robert, is the first to fall. They thought that maybe they passed out or tripped, and he checked and realizes that he didn't have a pulse anymore. And heard slithering and movement in the shadows. The area became too dark, and suddenly all light is gone. And then another one falls. Jeremy. And Ezra realizes he has to do something because it's just him and Amelia left. And he won't let Amelia die. He will not let Amelia die. And he puts a protection word up. a high level one, and it's broken immediately. And Amelia tries to do something, and then she just falls. Dead. And then he does another one that like bled into his very essence. It's like a last-ditch effort of sorts. He shouldn't have been doing it in the first place. And he holds it for as long as he can. But he feels something around it, trying to get in, trying to get to him, slithering. And then his other teammate comes to help. Does radiant magic of some sort. So whatever it was on the opposite end of radiant magic, probably something darker. And removes him and the rest of the cell out and holds it until help is asked to come. So like the teammate that like came in like held the cave shut with their magic for however long they needed to. And they just waited and waited until the Corps came with their dead friends.
Except for the one who was just like, I'm not going in there.
The one that was not going in there because someone kind of left them behind. Like, it was not left them behind, like, kept them behind. Was like, you don't understand, something's wrong. Right? So it seemed like that member found out something was wrong from that person or that townsperson or whatever it might be, and alerted that cell member in the nick of time. Like they got there, they ran back, and they were able to help. It just coincided with like the perfect magic that could be used to stop this situation from happening. So, you know this information now about the report. So you have premonition about briefing. You have a premonition.
In that premonition, like we saw that, right? Or if that's what's in the, like all of this stuff about the team member who stayed behind. What's the name of this person? Do we know the name of this person?
That has not been written in the report. That has actively not been written in the report. You start to notice, yes, Ezra is distraught and sad, but he makes it very known to people that passed away because these were his friends. These were people that was close to him. This team member a team member of one of our team members stayed behind. He does not say who that is. He says who comes in and tries and saves them, or saves him and tries to save them. Does not say their name again. Like, if the instances of where it should have been, they are not there. And it's not like it got crossed out. It just was suspiciously just not noted. I will give you that. This is Ezra Todd we're talking about. Like, so like, who dat?
No, it's just kind of like, now Ezra and all of you mean to tell me you are out here writing these notes with Bleeded Out by Linkin Park playing in the background and couldn't take the time to mention the name of this team member?
So wait, before we continue, hey, Sin, how you doing?
My melanin is acting up in this moment, and I feel like this is why we survive horror movies. Because what you mean?
Yeah.
What you mean?
What you mean?
Names are the math is not mathing. And when I say the math is not mathing, it's not that the numbers aren't adding up, it's that whole symbols are missing. Ain't no plus, no minus, no equals. What is happening over here? Pack it up.
All right, so I'm letting you know what the so I told you the report. All right, so like now you have the timeline that you can like insert premonitions into. You noted before briefing about the hunter, briefing from the handler into the cell, what was told to them. And what was the other one? Because like that became one because you realize, oh, Beatrice, the handler, is the one that did the briefing. And then the other one was what?
Who briefed Beatrice?
Who briefed Beatrice? And I'm going to give you one more now because, like, you just found out some information about the report. What would you like to do a premonition on?
Because I have information on the report, I get a new one.
Yeah, you have two. I told you up to three. You almost had three, but one becomes like two became one. So you have one more because you just found out stuff about the report. Choose it wisely.
Here's how I would like to role play it. I would like to like role play figuring out what that do thing is going to be when I find the rest of the team.
Oh, so you want to like for like your team coming back?
So something like, like kind of I talk to the team, I get information about what they've been up to, and then I'm like, that's it. And they're just like, that's what? And then I have to like debrief them on all the things. I think
Okay.
that would be like a good way to bring all the information
Okay.
together.
So we're gonna put a pin in one of those premonitions, but we have two. So you get the premonition. Now that you have like a full scope, you do your sketching, kind of like to ground you in that moment. Usually, like it's like automatic writing or automatic sketching, which is what is used to like do premonition sometimes. And while you're doing that, you see Beatrice is a olive-skinned woman, older, 40s, has black hair like streaked with salt and pepper. It's like in a messy bun. She's giving like old librarian vibes. But not seeker energy, like very like call center energy. So like has like a headset and stuff like that. Most handlers, kind of walk around this way, whether they have like headphones or whatever it might be. And you see them looking through their stacks of paper, right? Like not stacks, like their files. Like they're looking through, flipping through files and ratings and reading through everything that was brought to her attention because like a secret team went out and did their research, then reported it back and then and gave it to a handler to review. So she's going through and she's marking it and handing it off to her, like the hunter cells that she's working with. And then she comes across one and sees it and opens it. And there's a moment where she sees something different. She sees something that's like, oh, wow, this is horrible. Definitely not. And then someone gets her attention off camera. She turns and looks, and to her, no time passes. No one's there. But like for a moment, she's like, oh, weird. And she looks back down at the document. Entirely different document. Entirely different rating, entity. Same location though. And she's like, huh. And then she like reads it over again and reads it over again. She's like, and she like checks her desk to make sure like that was all the files that she had. And she's like, I guess this is the one I was just looking at. Why was I concerned? And then she looks around her desk and it's like late at night, like, like where there's other people like in the distance and like there's like low lighting at other desks. She's like, was I just talking to somebody?
This is where I think my background comes in. I would like to know if in the premonition I can see the signs of someone using my particular section of the org's talent for persuasion, as it were.
Sure.
So what I look for, right, is in the thing that she's viewing, if there are those signs of her looking at things and being momentarily unfocused, for example. Because I don't think I'm seeing the memory as far as I understand. And I could be wrong. I don't know if I'm having the premonition from her perspective. If I'm having the premonition as a third person watching the whole thing happen with Beatrice in the picture, looking at her body language for, does something happen where like her eyes glaze over, things are unfocused for a second, or she just goes, right. So anyway, like
I
just like
see.
there's a momentary
Okay.
glitch here.
You're
If
doing it
I'm
from
watching,
her perspective. I'm gonna
if
say
I'm
that.
what if I'm watching from her perspective, what I'm looking for are there jumps in time, and specifically, if she's looking at things, are there parts of what she looks at that start to become fuzzy or blurry because things have been finagled with in that space?
Okay. I'm gonna say you're gonna roll cultism. And the
Occultism.
target occultism, yes. And the target is level 5. Which
Yikes.
yeah, it's yeah. You're trained. You're
I
trained
am.
in it, so like it's a 4 now, which makes it 12. You have to make 12 or higher. If there's something else you would like to do to make it easier, you can.
Depending on what I have here, I might put effort in here.
Okay. You're gonna have to apply effort first if you want to like make it easy first.
You know what? I'm willing to apply effort for this. This is worth applying effort. So
Okay.
I'm going to put in an effort.
So that you just take away 1 intellect point, because you have an edge of 2 because it costs 3 normally. So good for you for having that edge. And now it is 3, level 3. So now you need to make a 9 or higher.
I have rolled a 16.
We love it. Okay. So you're comparing, I would say you know what it feels like on the person's end to lose memories. Or they wouldn't even know that it happened, right? Like it would just be like a cut in time. And it would be kind of like a stitching effect, like on top of it. Like you can visually or like supernaturally, you can see that like memory stitching from that moment over.
I feel like it's one of those things where if you're a video editor, right, when people do those sorts of things, you notice it immediately. But for a normal person, it's just kind of like, wow,
Yeah.
how did they do that? Like, how
Yeah,
did you put,
exactly.
like, 3 people on the
Exactly
screen?
that. So you can find that cut if it was what happened, right? So you're looking for the cut from what you're used to, because like let's say being trained for what you do, you have to know what it feels like. So you've been through like on your side, this is what losing a memory is like. So you know what to look out for, and vice versa. You've probably done it to like another person to make sure they knew what it was like. That's not this. This is not a cleaner specific skill here. It's a seamless removal of something. The best way to put it, it's like, I'm trying to find words here, like how to describe this. It's like they remembered things differently, or someone told them that they remembered things differently. This is a hypnosis kind of thing, maybe? Something happened, someone did something at this moment. If this was someone that was well versed in memory magic, there is a cut. Even if it's seamless or clean or whatever, depending on how eloquent they are with it, you would find it because you know what you're looking for. There's no cuts, there's no jumps. This is someone did something that made them remove something on their own. You're not sure what this is, actually. You're not sure what kind of magic this is, but it's not memory magic specifically. It might be a part of it, but it's not your magic or your type of magic.
So it's like a really strong suggestion that they don't remember. Like, not just this didn't happen, but more like you're going to do this, and then when you're done with this, you're not going to remember that it happened. Also, this tape will self-destruct in 60 seconds.
Kind of, yeah. Just not the self-destruction table. But, you know, like, it's just like, hey, you're going to do X, whatever that was, happened. And this was the result. They don't remember what that interaction is because they can't.
Do they remember what that person's voice, what the sound of that person's voice was?
No. There's nothing left for you to like even sample, if you wanted to put it that way, for them to like know who they were even kind of talking to. You just know someone walked up to them, got their attention, and then things were different. They may like, oh, maybe I need to get something to eat, and get some coffee, go to sleep. I don't know. Maybe this is my day, right? Because it was late. That's how they see it.
Theo's about to hear an earful, and I don't think they're ready for it.
All right. So that's one. And then the other one was.
So the first question was about the briefing that they got. The second one was about who gave Beatrice the briefing. And
The other one, I think you're waiting for your team, right? Was that what was happening?
I think we're just like, hey, you get one more of these. And I'm like, right, I'm going to wait for the rest of the team to come together before we figure that out.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, so what you got from this is that like, hey, a group of seekers gave what seemed like, you can make this assumption, a correct analysis of what's going on in that town. And then it was replaced, question mark, while they were doing their reading through and who am I going to give this to and da-da-da-da-da. And it seemed like they made the decision to give it to Ezra's team. Or it was noted that it was going to be given to Ezra's team.
On a player note, it's giving vendetta, and I don't know why, but we'll come back to it later.
All right. How is Orphe feeling? Like, after you're sitting at this desk that's kind of isolated in, like, the stacks, right? And you're reading this, you're reading your friend's, like, report. You're doing the premonition of sketches, which I might ask, how did those final sketches come out for you?
There is like me drawing things and me drawing people desperately trying to warn the team, and the team walking off with like anime hero backgrounds or whatever, like in contrast to like a dark background where someone is telling them like doom is impending or what have you, right? And then drawing all of the other things, but there's a lot of stuff I edit because of how grotesque it is, right? Being like, I'm trying to keep this PG-13, but I leave enough of a clue in there to be like, it's like there are like bodies that are clearly broken, but then there's just like this like darkness and like red eyes and fangs everywhere. Looks like what happens when like Alucard just goes, let me unlock my limits for a second in like Hellsing Abridged or something like that, right? Or Hellsing Ultimate. So we got that going on for the first vision. For the second vision, you have a thing where Beatrice is reading a thing and there's a note about what the clear mission is. P.S. Because I'm seeing that from her perspective, I do try to make note of like the parts that she reads about what it says for the extent that she reads it. And she's a person who gives a lot of briefings. So I imagine she can read that thing like a page at a time. So if there's like a thing of being like, this is clearly what happened, there's a panel of like reading it. There's a panel that's like a hatch sketching where there's kind of like a blur because like, and she turns her head off screen. And then there's like another panel with her doing the exact same thing she did in the first scene, but it has different words.
And you sit with this a bit.
And I think the first parts of my feelings are, they're neutral. I see this stuff a lot, and I have to see a lot of grotesque things because the people in the department that I'm properly from deal with people having to see unspeakable things, and then us having to make sure that they didn't see that, technically speaking, and then having to keep track of them. But there's a part of me, after processing all of that in a neutral sense, that I just sit with it and simmer on what has happened, And Orphe, among other things, is sad because cannot imagine what it's like to be Ezra and have lived with this since then, but also angry that someone would so recklessly put so many people in danger like this for seemingly no reason. Because like I have no idea what their motivations are. You just like sent a whole bunch of people to their death, and for absolutely what reason? There can be a good one.
I'll give this premonition here for you. I'm just gonna drop it in here because I think it's fun, and then we can wrap and then go to everybody else. It kind of happens not against your will, but it's just like the tail end of like because your thought process and what your friend has been going through that you also are assigned to find out more about this exact thing. And you're like, for why? For what reason? Like, why? And it seems like a premonition answers why. And you draw, again, automatic drawing. This kind of comes about with the posed question. You start drawing the outline of bodies. So like, like if someone were to draw the outline of like if someone were to take a pencil and draw around someone on a sheet of paper on the ground kind of thing, but like more refined. You find yourself doing that. You do it with where your brain is going to these people that fell, right? And then there's a clearly filled out, sketched out quickly of what Ezra looks like. And the other ones, one is like taller than Ezra, one's like the same height or a little like shorter than Ezra, and then someone else that's shorter than Ezra. It's like they're who they are, their insides were hollowed out. That's what it looks like. Like their identity are gone, hence why they're just outlines. Ezra doesn't have that treatment, but they are standing in a line like a cell, right? And you can see, you start drawing these like lines coming from like their head, like the tops of their heads, like something draining out of them, something being pulled out of them. And it's like fluid, like thread, and it interwoves or goes across the page. It fills the background of the page. It goes across the edges. Something wanted them, who they were, everything that they were, and hollow them out. And they didn't get to do it with Ezra, but that was possibly the intention. And I'm gonna say you sit with it after you're done with this premonition, and give me a sentence of how that final sketch makes you feel.
The fuck? What?